I'm Elvains. It's Monday. If you didn't know, um, we start our week with Monday medicine. It may sound like I'm a little out of breath. I kind of am. Let me turn my mic on. Forgot I ain't turned it on. But yeah, man. Good morning, man. Play a little music. Just a little music. But yeah. So good morning. Welcome back to Elvains Radio. I'm Elvains. It's Monday. This is Monday, our Monday morning show, Monday Medicine. And we're starting our week with a little safety, a little reflection, a little conversation, a little inspiration, all those good things. Uh, yeah. Um, so yesterday was Father's Day, which is, I think Father's Day is a very controversial day. On on the list of controversial holidays, you know, I wonder where Father's Day would stand. And I'm not saying that the day itself is controversial, but how our feelings for the person or who it's about is controversial, right? Um, yeah, man, but yeah, so we're starting our day. Let's play a little music. I don't know if y'all can hear that right now, but even if you can't, that's fine. Yeah, so we're starting local this morning, right? Situation happened at the Brandon Mall, where two juveniles were arrested. All right, so they were arrested um, because they let's see, I wrote it down here. Sorry, guys, but anyway, yeah. So we're starting our day here today local this morning. A situation that Brandon Mall has people talking, worrying about safety. What happens when one moment changes everything? But beyond the headlines, there's two bigger questions. How do we create safer communities where people feel actually safe, right? And what responsibility do we actually have in that? So what happened? So what happened? Um, there was an incident at the Brandon Mall. Okay, it was June 18th. All right, here in Brandon, Florida, deputies with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office arrested two juveniles. So juveniles, that means that they're under 18, right? So I think my biggest question is also like, where does the younger generation get these weapons of mass destruction? Like who is selling these things? Or obviously there are pawn shops. There's just gun stores, but we got to figure out how are the children get, like, are the parents just not serious about keeping those things away, right? Or are things just too accessible to these days? Or like, are things just too accessible, right? So apparently there was a altercation, but no one was hurt or yeah. But apparently, the situation escalated into a police response. One of the teens reported, to have had access to firearms, and a handgun and an AR style rifle were later recovered. So during the investigation, yeah. So no one, like I said, no one was physically injured. But I remember when I was in college, and this isn't like I wasn't a juvenile at the time. I was an adult. So um, I was in college, and I was playing football. I was playing football. I was on the football team, and I had a scholarship. But the school that I played for, we didn't have the funds to afford the football team to stay on campus while the summer practice was going on. So I stayed with one of my teammates. So one of my teammates were into doing, some of the wrong things, selling some of the wrong things, you know. But at that time, I didn't know. I had never really got into that life. I'm a clean guy. All right. I don't know if you could tell. I'm a clean guy. I'm just a regular clean guy. Okay. I don't usually do, right. But yeah, it wasn't like some hard stuff, but it was something that people would rob you for. All right. So um, I ended up, dabbling in this art of marijuana. But yeah, so it was one night, I was, cause, well, I guess I didn't tell you that, but I had stayed with my teammates during that summer, right? So I stayed with my teammates during that summer, and that is what the business that, they were in at the time. So at the time, well, it was one night. I think they had went out or did something, right? They went out or did something. I was the only person there, right? So me, I'm I'm in the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen, and in the kitchen there's the back door, right? So there's the back door. Someone kicks in the back door, but it takes them like 7 tries, right? Like, well, I say about 4 tries. But on the second try, I knew someone was trying to break in, right? So um, I ran out the front door, right? Um, and as I was running, my stupid ass turned around, like looked back, and I seen like 3, 4 people running in the apartment, right? So I get out, fortunately, I open the door, I open the front door, I get out, I run, right? I run, okay? Um, a shootout ensued. I wasn't the one pew-pewing, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have the gun, you know what I'm saying? But a shootout ensued. Um, and, let's just say I could have lost my life, right? Um, yeah. So I say all of that to say we got to understand that one moment can change everything. I don't think younger people think about the consequences of their. They don't think about the consequences. They think about things. Maybe the next 5 minutes, not the next 5 years, right? Um, yeah, man. I think one moment can change everything. There's peer pressure. There's you trying to prove something. There's impulse decisions. And those things can affect your family, your future, and even opportunities that may come down the road. So I say all that, man, just to say, be careful. Be careful. Be mindful. Think about the decisions that you are making. Um, don't just do because others are doing. You have your own mind. You can live your own life. You can do whatever you choose to do with your life, and just keep going. Right? So yeah, man, one decision can change everything, man. One decision. So just think about also the people you could affect, right? I remember one of my family members. Um, they were going through some family things, right? With some things, right? And you know, they were in a they were in a they were in a bad place, right? So in traffic, they're driving, and I think this other person flips them off, or they flip the other person off, and they take it to where I think he flipped the person off, and another person started following him. So he ended up parking, and they stopped in the parking lot, but they didn't get out. So if they would have gotten out, both of them would have been losers, because one moment would have changed their whole life. You know, this person has a family, this person has kids, you know. Yeah. So yeah, don't like think. And I get it, because like I said, I started with the story about me, right? I didn't think, you know, sometimes what you think is cool never ever was for the person that you thought was cool. You know, like are we are we taking safety? Are we only talking about safety after something happens? You know, so like we're big on security. Like, you know, after something happens, um, you know, we have police presence. You know, we have emergency response, but we're not big on mentorship. You know, we're not big on confident, not confident, conflict resolution. You know, being a bigger person sometimes. You know, sometimes it's hard, you know, to be the bigger person, but you can do it. And young people, just take a second to think about tomorrow. And once you get to the point where you can think about tomorrow, think about tomorrow's tomorrow. Seriously. Yeah, man. But on that note, you know, I don't want to be too serious today. All right. I wanted to also talk about, you know, so we have someone coming, you know, to Tampa, you know. Yeah, so now in culture news, right? So Tampa may be changing its name to Tampa Bay. All right. So hear me out. BA are lowercase, and the Y is capital, and the E is lowercase. So Bay, like, you know, right, yeah. So, because, listen, Ye, formerly known as, you know, Kanye West, right, is scheduled to perform this week, right? This Friday, this weekend. If you haven't got your tickets, it's probably too late. If you ain't got your tickets, it's probably too late. All right. So listen. I got friends, they already telling me they going. I ain't going. I ain't saying don't go, but I just, you know, I ain't in no position right now to be going to a concert. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stay focused. Right? I'm trying to stay focused. All right. I'm trying to stay focused. All right. So the thing is, you know, yeah, so Ye, man, Ye is a legend. He's a legend, right? And you know, he's been named all these things, genius. He's been controversial. He's been looked at as a villain, a hero. You know, as somebody who thinks too much of themselves. You know, this, that. But he is human. You know, Kanye may be one of the most creative people that have walked Earth. Controversial as well, right? The thing is, when you realize that life is truly what you make it. When you realize this is truly what you make it, you're gonna look at it differently. You know, you're gonna do everything how you do anything, which is to 100%. All right, like Kanye, he ain't thinking about, oh, how do people feel about this? And you shouldn't think about that either. You should think about how you feel. When's the last time you asked yourself how you felt about something? Right? When's the last time you asked yourself, what do I really want to do? But yeah, man, I don't want this to be banned or nothing, because these are like actual songs. So I don't know. Let me turn it down a little bit. Shout out to Vibes by Armel. Yeah. But yeah, man, so yeah. So why does it matter that Kanye is coming to Tampa? All right. Like, so one, sometimes I be on social media. Sometimes I be on social media. All right. Sometimes I be on social media. Okay. Yeah. Shout out, yeah, man. But yeah, like it was, it was like Kanye performed here, and the economy went up $100 million. I don't know if y'all know, but the economy needs some money. All right. The economy needs some money. Okay. Like, why is everything going up but wages? Okay. I don't understand. All right. We need to, Kanye, you know, I think the thing is creativity is boosting the economy, right? People are buying tickets. People are getting jobs. People are, paying for parking. People are posting stories. People are buying clothes. People are listening to music. People are doing all these things, and that's the ecosystem. America needs creativity. America needs creativity. They don't tell you that, but America needs creativity. Okay, so listen. These shows don't just bring fans, they bring movement. Hotels fill up, restaurants spike, ride share surges. The whole city feels it. I'm just trying to tell you, man. And there's a growing conversation around artists like Ye having a impact on local economies. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We need art. Don't you know? Art matters, man. You gotta protect the artist, Because one thing you can say about Kanye is there's perseverance, right? Through all the things that he has went through, right? Get the jacket right, trying to get the jacket right. After all the things he have went through, he has prevailed, and most of the time, what holds us back is us, our own mind, our own limitations. Don't let your own limitations hold you back. Kanye is a representation of not giving your dreams limitation. Like not putting limits on yourself, not saying I can't do, saying I can, I will, and I am. Right? Yeah. So I'm trying to tell you, and Ye's story is one of the most complicated, complex in modern culture, right? A genius, a disruptor, controversial. I'm telling you, misunderstood, all in the same lifetime. And y'all want to talk about Shakespeare? Stop playing. Kanye, shout out Kanye, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Kanye, man. Shout out Kanye. There's stadium tours, right? Like I'm saying, like, cities like and the good thing is cities like Tampa are becoming more of a normal location where they go, right? So this is beautiful stuff, man. This is beautiful stuff. The economies are growing. We got to understand that art is life. Art is life. Art is everything. All right. Know that. They have tens of thousands of attendees per night. You have out of town travel. People don't even live here, and they come here to see you perform. Yeah, that's what they do. Like, we need art. We need entertainment. America is entertainment. And once you understand that, you understand America. God bless it. But yeah, man, yeah. We talk about graduation era, right? Mainstream rise, beloved genius era, public controversy, and cancellation conversation. Y'all try to cancel. Never forget y'all for trying to cuss Kanye. But yeah, anyway. So I was watching this video, right? I was watching this video, and we're about to get into this next topic. This video I was watching on social media. It was a prank. So I was watching this prank on social media where this guy um but yes, I was watching this prank on social media where this guy he impersonated like a park ranger. I'm gonna just say a park ranger. Let's say his name is Derek. All right. So Derek is impersonating the park ranger. His friend John, all right. His friend John is impersonating a dead body in a garbage bag. All right. So his friend is in a dead. His friend is a dead body in a garbage bag by a tree. All right. So this is a prank. A couple comes by, and Derek asks for their help. He says, um, you know, I am cleaning up the park or something like that. I got hired, and I need your help. All right, with moving something. Okay. So he said, I'll pay you. They agreed. All right. They followed him over to what they needed to help him with picking up. Well, what he needed help with picking up. And it was the dead body. And the boyfriend ran. Pew! He's gone. He's gone. All right. Gone. We didn't see the boyfriend again. He was gone. Okay. He didn't come back. All right. So now there's Derek, dead body John, and girlfriend. Okay. So girlfriend backs up when she sees dead body. So as boyfriend runs, girlfriend backs up, but she doesn't run. All right. Boyfriend's gone. She's still there. Why? Why? Did she stay because she needed the money? Did she stay because her boyfriend left her and she expected her boyfriend to do something? Was the boyfriend wrong for running? Because there's a dead body. There's a dead body. Should he not run? All right. Like, so, there's fight, there's flight, and what not many people think about is freeze. All right. Were they both wrong for not keeping their commitment and promise to help move stuff? They agreed. No, I'm joking. But anyway, yes, there's fight, there's flight, there's freeze, right? But what was the boyfriend wrong? Because he's supposed to be the protector. Was the girlfriend wrong for staying in the moment? I know women love true crime shows. Y'all need to stop it. Y'all be thinking everything, no, I'm joking. Or were they both wrong? Or were they both just reacting to fear differently? Right? So that's what I'm saying. We talk about fight, flight, but there's also freeze. We forget about freeze. It doesn't always look like fear, right? Because she eventually walked away. Derek tried to approach her. I was like, I thought you were helping. And she was going to piece him up. She was going to piece him up. Yeah, but she didn't. All right. So, see, I'm leaving. I don't know if those two are still together. Um, I think I'm sharing the video as well. So you guys let me know if they are still together after that. But yeah, freeze, man. You know, some people run, some people act, some people pause. Okay, you guys let me know what you think. Right. So, all right, let's bring it home. Right. So we talked about safety. We talked about culture. We talked about how people react under pressure. Right. So let's talk about something that doesn't always make headlines, right? So men are praised for being strong, but not always given space to be human. Father Day just passed, and for a lot of us, it's a celebration. For others, it's about reflection, and for some of us, it's complicated, right? For some of us, it's complicated, right? But today, I want to talk about men's mental health. Um, I want to talk about, bottling emotions, carrying stress, without expressing it, right? I was just talking to someone yesterday about that. Staying silent to avoid being seen as weak. Sometimes, not sometimes. I know, I'm sure, I don't know if there's a study on this, but I'm sure there's probably about 95% of men have heard men don't cry. Men don't tell their woman their feelings because they'll think differently, right? It may not be 95%, but it may be 50%. I don't know. I don't run the numbers. I went to school for forensics science, okay? Not math, okay? So, yeah, but I'm sure it's a large percent, right? And what I've noticed is what I've noticed myself in my experience, men with fathers aren't softer, but I think they're better with their emotions. So I think a father helps a boy learn how to deal with his emotions, right? Like the father actually matters a lot. I'm not saying the mother doesn't matter, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Father's Day. It's men's mental health month. Can we get anything? Can we get this month? Gosh, right? All right. So, yeah, what I'm saying is, in my experience, men without fathers are generally harder because we have to be sooner, right? That's in my estimation. So, in my experience, a father is very instrumental in a man's life. Yeah, right. So, also, yeah, being the person that someone leans on, right? Sometimes we are taking on so many things, and we never say anything. Man, talk to somebody, man, and not just yourself. Y'all need to stop talking to us. I mean, I talk to myself, but you need brothers, you need family, you need freedom to express your feelings, sir. Live your life. All right. So don't just be someone for others to lean on. Continue to be that. However, understand that you're strongest when you're rested. All right. So I'm not saying take rest every day, but understand that you still do have to take some time for yourself. You still have to find something to do for just you. You still have to find a moment to breathe. So don't forget to breathe, okay? Right? But yeah, so think about the men in your life, all right? The ones who show up, the ones who stay steady, the ones who stay ready, the ones who never complain. Reach out to them and tell them how much you appreciate it. I'm sure they would appreciate that. Right? Like who checks on the man who checks on everyone else? But also, man, allow yourself to be vulnerable. That's okay. You know, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Yeah. That's what I'm feeling, you guys. That's what I'm feeling. But yeah, as we wrap up Monday Medicine, I feel like we ain't even been on here that long, but it's been great. I appreciate you guys coming. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys coming. But yeah. I just want to leave this here. All right. Strong people don't generally look like they're struggling, even when they are. Okay. Not every struggle looks like pain on the outside. Okay. So this week, check on people differently. Uh, Not just the ones who ask for help, but also the ones who don't. Protect your attention, move with intention. And don't forget, strength doesn't always mean silence. So this is L Vane's Radio, and I'll see you Wednesday. Remember, love is that.